right. I'm giving it a few minutes. You never know when this camera clicks on once you start a live stream. And half the time you don't see yourself until far after you already begun. How you guys doing? I'm Michael Nolan. This is The Bottom Line, and tonight is Tribal Forum 105, where we're going to be talking about who killed grunge rock. And we're also going to be talking about the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. I want to get you guys all up to date. I've got some exciting news regarding that, so keep that in mind. Evidently, we haven't changed there. All right, folks, sorry about that. We'll start all over. I'm Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line, a professional YouTube channel. Believe it or not, or at least most of the time. We had the camera backwards, baby.
Oh, because my own.
Yeah, I just corrected it. It should switch any minute. There is a delay here.
That's strange.
Any second, you'll see my hand come up and change
Okay.
it. All right. And anyway, not only is it The Bottom Line, but when I stream, we call it the Tribal Forum. This is Tribal Forum number 105. And now you know why I like to monitor what's going on in the channel while I'm streaming, because if I hadn't been monitoring the stream just now, I would have streamed the whole thing backwards until one of you screamed your bloody head off about it. But tonight, like I said, is Tribal Forum number 105, and we're going to be talking about who killed grunge rock, okay? And we're also going to be talking about the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. And like I said, I have some exciting news because we're going to do something with this Hall of Fame that just seems right to me. Let me know what you think when we get into that. Now, before we get into it, I've only got a short period of time tonight, folks. So I don't want to delve into channel business too much, except to give a shout out to those who gave super thanks on our last stream, like I always do. I want to thank 45 RPM. Thank you, brother, for your kind 5 memberships. And 5 of you did take advantage of that. And you've been able to see all my latest content over there if you've had the inclination. So thank you very much. That was like a $35 super thanks. My good buddy Royce, who I'll be over on his show after this show. That's why I have limited time. All right, if this was Wednesday, I could go until I run out of steam, not stream. And but I go on his show, The Four Horsemen. All right, and how you find his show? Just type in The Four Horsemen, add a colon there, and then just write one word: Royce in the House. All right, just let it run together, and you'll find it. Or you can go to my channel page, and I have a link to his channel. We're going to be talking about Janis Joplin tonight. Okay, and Royce gave us a $20 super thanks. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Just the Facts Man, also a member of the Four Horsemen and a fellow panelist, came in with a $10 super thanks. Thank you, Dan. We call him Dan the Man, baby. And
right, we do.
Irgesplitten Laudenboomer, Deuce, came in and swung the deuce hammer. And baby, did I see a deuce hammer just before I got up here?
Yes, you did.
Really?
You sure did.
Who does that come from?
That was Flounder Gear Jam.
That was from Gear Jam himself.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Did he say anything or just...
He just said, swinging the deuce hammer.
Amen to that. All
For
right.
the tribe.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, so what we're going to do tonight, first of all, I wanted to start this whole thing because thousands of you have been voting on my latest series of polls. We're on... I just released part 14. There's going to be 26 parts. So we're not even, well, I guess we crossed the halfway point last night. And with this one, we begin the new halfway, the second half of the individual polls and your chance to vote on who you want to be in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. And I've got to say one thing, since we're going to be talking about grunge tonight, the 2 parts that are between, that were just before the last 2 parts, I believe it was 11 and 12, parts 11 and 12, I got to say, I out of any two-part section of all these polls so far, fewer of you responded to that. That kind of surprises me and yet doesn't. I'll tell you what happened with me and grunge. At the time I became aware of grunge, I was in my early 30s. I was in the martial arts, studying very seriously, eventually obtaining my second-degree black belt at the art. And a fellow black belt turned me on he says, oh, dude, some of your older stuff is good. A guy was about 21 at the time, so I had a good, at this point, 15 years on him. And he said, you got to hear Alice in Chains. And he says, especially, it's an EP, man. It's called Jar of Flies. Okay, so that was my introduction. Then I got into Stone Temple Pilots. A little bit later, I liked some of the Smashing Pumpkins. Soundgarden was okay, although I never bought any of their CDs at the time. But you heard them all the time on radio. And of course, Nirvana, coming out, and dug that, got that album immediately. So I am a fan of grunge, and I'm also a fan of, a believer that grunge was really the last true different subgenre of classic rock. And of course, this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that we're putting together, called the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, does contain all kinds of subgenres and everything like that. And of course, we're going to be including grunge with that. All right. Now, baby, you were looking. The reason I'm up a few minutes late is I was getting a garbled sound during sound check. I had to correct that, folks. So I'm sorry if I'm a few minutes late.
Yeah.
And if I got discombobulated and didn't, have the right camera on and everything, that explains all of that. But Kimberly was looking at what you guys were saying in the comments, and did you find anything of interest in there, baby?
Well, it's funny you should mention, because our wonderful storm cop, and I never
James.
would have thought this about him.
What?
He confessed to murdering grunge rock.
What?
Yeah, he confessed.
Oh, okay. Read this comment. I got to hear this.
He says, it was me. I confess. I killed grunge rock. Oh my God. He confessed.
Why, James, who are we going to call on you, you
No,
murdering bastard?
not
A storm
Storm
cop? It's
Cop.
not like we can call a storm cop on
Not
you.
storm cop.
No, he's...
No.
Yeah, I love
He
it.
only murders trolls. Come on.
He goes after them, too.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Not good for grunge.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I hear you about that. Matter of fact, I got to tell you, the comments, because I'm reading all the comments, thousands of comments. Matter of fact, the poll has already reached, was it 14,000? It may be 14,000. I know we hit 13,000 votes so far.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness, honey. Vinny Bracco just came in
Vinny.
with a super thing.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Vinny. I haven't been
Vinny
over your
Bracco.
channel in a while. For a while there, you were streaming on nights I was either editing
Wow.
or anything. Vinny is an absolute great, he has a great channel. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Did he say anything in it, babe?
He said, buy your own. Yeah.
Buy your own?
Buy your own. No, that's a...
Bring your own.
Yeah, no, buy your own.
Oh, buy your own. Cool.
He didn't say anything, he just gave you the $20. Thank you, Vinny Bracco. That's so
Vinny,
nice.
it's good. I'm glad you hung with me, brother, because I have been missing some of your live streams. I haven't seen any lately, but I love his live streams. And when he talks rock and roll on what he knows, man, he knows his stuff.
Wow.
Especially with the Beatles, because I know my stuff with the Beatles, and I can acknowledge that Vinny's right up there with my knowledge base, even knowing some stuff I hadn't heard. I've
Oh
learned
my
from him.
gosh. Beast LVX just came in with a super thing.
my goodness.
Too. Oh my goodness.
What's this now?
Beast LVX, thank you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Let's see, I see it. $20 super, thanks. Thank you.
that's so nice.
Baby, could you read that? That's kind of blanking out on me.
He says, major self-destruction sabotage led to the downfall of grunge.
Yeah.
To Kurt Cobain, Lane Staley, and eventually Scott Weiland
Wieland,
and Mark
yep.
Lanigan.
Yep.
Too much inner-outer conflicts.
Right.
The will to not change or shift according, and more.
Right.
Absolutely, Beast. I agree.
Exactly. And since you brought that up, I had some information on that. I was going to start with the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, but we'll get there. You brought it up, and I always like to respond to super thanks. And sometimes a super thanks can change the direction or what we cover first on the channel. Now, when I looked up, because I just asked a general question, and tried to find various articles that would support it and everything. What killed grunge rock? And it's amazing. You would think that if it hadn't been killed, that question would make no sense to AI, but it answered it quite quickly and quite duly. Here's some of the things they brought up, okay? And what you just brought up, Beast. Now, Beast is that Deuces Wild? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to keep up this. Or is you guys are going to have to remind me, because there's Irgersplitten. I think that's Deuces Wild. Beast LVX. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's Deuce or because it's so frustrating. Then we had.
Let me see. I have an old list here. Let me see if I've got him in there. Yeah. Okay. Irgersplitten is Gear Jam.
Irgersplitten. That's
okay,
right.
Okay, Beast LVX is Deuce, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Deuces Wild.
Right.
Yeah. See, I've got it on a list here. Good. Okay, good. We got
Beast
that.
Is
and
Wild.
you've turned the tide on the stream right now, buddy, because like I said, when a super thanks comes in, I always answer them right off. And if they're going to get into one of the main subjects, we'll stay on that for a bit. Anyway, here's what they came up with as to what killed, besides Storm Cop, of course, grunge rock. I'm a fan of grunge rock, okay? So, yet I know a lot of you just don't care for it. Never got into it. And it is unusual for somebody my generation to be that geared into that later of an art form. There's no doubt about it. But like I said, I had just quit drinking. I had cleaned up my act. I had joined the martial arts. I was, at 34 years old, I had the world by, I had as much energy when I was 34. I still have a few days like that, that I did when I was 21, right? 21. Yep. You know how long 21 was ago?
Oh, well, something like 50 years ago.
50 freaking years ago.
Yeah.
Today.
I know today is Michael's birthday.
Yeah. Oh, as a matter of fact, I'm going to get into this
oh my goodness.
Beast. But I wanted to thank Kimberly for these wonderful gifts. I got this album, Beatles Love. I just love it. All right. Had to get it. And she also got me this wonderful album. I've been looking for this. This is Pink Floyd's The Division Bell. And my latest article, video, that is available on the channel right now. I just released it this morning. Talks about it a little bit. And that album, when it first came out, it was a long album. It was meant to be mixed to CD. There were still a bit of a market for LPs in those days. I wasn't in the market for LPs. I had made the change from LPs to CDs. And when it came out, I got the CD. And when I got this one, I realized that when they did release this on LP, but only the 42-minute version, and this is a 60-minute plus album. So this wonderful gift from her actually is a double album and has the whole album on it.
Well, I knew you wanted it, hon.
Thank you very much.
And Michael Boswell came in with a super thing.
Oh my goodness, Michael!
Thank
always
you so
good to hear
much.
from Michael.
I know, it's always great when Michael Boswell's
Michael
here.
is my mirror image. He's Michael, I'm Michael, but I say yin, he says yang, or I say yang, he says
I love the
yin.
name Michael.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Michael's a good name.
Archangel. Yeah.
Archangel. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Michael Boswell says the other part of this is that grunge isn't a polished form of music and doesn't sound great in radio and media. And you know what? Michael's right.
That's your
I agree.
opinion too.
I agree. That's true.
All right. Now, Michael, as a musician, I can tell you, they're great musicians. Now, polished, yeah, I think that was purposefully done to get that grungy kind
Yeah.
of feel to it. And in the day, I couldn't find anybody that wasn't buying their albums and
Oh
everything.
my goodness, Beast LVX just came in with a super thing,
Oh,
son.
good.
Yeah, pretty soon you're not going to be able to talk at all, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, no,
I
I
keep
did.
interrupting him.
We'll get to you in a minute here, Beast. I did want to finish Michael's comment here.
Yeah.
But as even a decade after Michael, I noticed there was a cooling off. And I got to tell you, a lot of the grunge acts, I liked, I think as wild as I ever got was Stone Temple Pilots. Okay?
Yeah,
Sometimes they were just almost a little too grungy for me. But when we're talking about my favorite grunge band of all time, which is Alice in Chains, that's almost not like a grunge band to me. But and we can talk about that when we get there, because those guys had secrets and approaches that go back to the Beatles. And that's why I think they're a superior band. You can rip them out of grunge, you can tear grunge away from rock and roll and just keep Alice in Chains and Nirvana and some of what the Smashing Pumpkins did, some of what Soundgarden did, and then I'd be happy myself. All right, like I said, my generation, we were already kind of set in our ways. We're in our mid 30s, Some of
Yeah.
us in our mid 40s at that time, that first rock generation. I was the younger of the first rock generation, no doubt. I was the baby. But, you get set in your ways. Yeah, I've seen it all, man. I kind of went with MTV there for a while, but that kind of got nutty, that type of thing and everything. So, yeah, good point. Now, what was Deuce's comment, baby?
Okay, Deuce.
And let me know how much, because I'm not on that page. I wanted
He
to shout
swung
it
the
out.
Deuce hammer again.
Okay, a Deuce
Thank
hammer has
you,
been
Beast.
thrown.
He says, "Happy rockin' birthday, Tribal Chief. Much love."
Thank you, sir.
Aw, we love you too, Beast.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I don't feel a day over 71.
Yeah. Good. That's the spirit, hon.
Damn right.
That's the spirit.
I have my, even today, I have my great days. When I'm, all healthy, well slept and everything, I've got at least 3/4, maybe a little over the energy that I had in my 20s, and I feel blessed for that, because that could disappear at any time. And for any of you who have been severely hampered out there, and you're around my age,
my
or even
goodness.
10, 20 years younger, it starts even then. But I feel for you, and all I can say
Oh,
is
my
do what you
goodness.
can, do what you can, and be blessed, feel blessed that you're still breathing, Yeah, baby.
Flounder, Dear Jam, member for 7 months, tribal chieftain.
Yep.
He says, "What a great community. We came for the music, but we stay because of the tribe. Amen.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you for the weekly pickup. Happy birthday, Michael. Blessings to you and wishing many more."
Thank you.
Oh, that's
yeah,
so nice.
that's what I'm hoping for.
I love the
You never know.
the sense of community we have, and
Yes, I
everybody
do
is
too,
so
baby.
loving and wonderful. And Rockin' Robin Bird, tribal elder for 5 months. Woohoo! It's just not a stream if Rockin' Robin Bird is
Yep.
not here.
I know.
That's exactly how I feel.
I agree.
She says, "Happy birthday, Michael. I saw Mudhoney in 2023, and the ticket was only $25. Oh my goodness." Oh wow, yeah, remember that?
This was 2023, she says?
And they put on an awesome show at
Yeah.
a small venue.
Yeah. Part of the problem is there are so many casualties to grunge
Yeah.
that 20 years later, 30 years later, they can't do the tours that a lot of...
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the original bands had casualties too, but there were a whole lot more classic rock bands out, so that when a Brian Jones died, there was still tons of stuff coming out every week.
Ben Scheidegger just became, well, he didn't just become, he's been a tribal chieftain for 9 months.
Yeah, he's been there
And he says, Happy anniversary of the day you were born, Michael.
Thank you.
Love this community as well. Dio for Mount Rock Olympus. We are the tribe. Amen, Ben.
I love it.
Oh,
Now, folks,
Ben Scheidegger.
why are these being picked up? If you notice, they're highlighted. These are channel members.
Yeah.
And they become either an elder or a chieftain, depending on what tier they join. And they have the right to put these out. That's part of the benefits of being a channel member. You can get comments read out loud right here, live, right with the super thanks. And I appreciate it because, you know, these folks, they pay a monthly, fee to be part of the channel. And so it's as good as a super thanks to me, baby.
Yeah.
I can say that. So anyway, getting back to what Michael Boswell and the comment before that was talking about, it may have been Deuce, where they were talking about, the individuals. They named 4 off right there. Here it says death of key figures was one of the reasons grunge died away. The 1994 suicide of Nirvana's Kurt Cobain, often considered the voice of a generation, removed the genre's reluctant leader. And yeah, if there was a leader to grunge, I'd say it was Nirvana, and he was the leader of Nirvana. I have no problem with that. And he was a reluctant leader, no doubt, and also a major Beatles fan, and he knew how to craft a song. A lot of the grunge bands didn't. Alice in Chains also knew how to craft a song. It's all about the song in the end, folks. All right, Alice in Chains vocalist Lane Staley's death in 2002 from a drug overdose marked the final tragic end to the Seattle scene's heyday. All right, heroin addiction. It says intense drug addiction plagued the scene, including members of Alice in Chains and other bands, causing members to disappear from the public eye, as heroin users often do. Then it says commercialization and saturation. All right. It talks about the music industry rushed to sign grunge light bands, saturating the market with similar sounds and stripping the genre of its raw, underground authenticity. It was like, in New York, you had the underground scene, you had the Velvet Underground, you had all the, well-meaning, even Deborah Harry, came out of that scene eventually. See, they nurtured it, and it was rare for that type of underground music to actually get airplay. I remember when Lou Reed's started his big hit, where he sings "All the Colored Girls Go," that was out of left field, right? So they nurtured it, and it would make it to the top of the general public's awareness from time to time. For its advocates, it also produced a ton of music that they could do, but they didn't oversaturate the underground elements of that East Coast sound on the radio, coast to coast here in America or worldwide, all right? So that's one of the reasons. Shifting trends by the late 90s, listeners moved toward more optimistic pop punk. Green Day. I have a love-hate relationship with Green Day. I like a lot of their stuff, but some of it is almost sophomoric in its approach. And a lot of bands that came out of that. Britpop, the melodic Britpop of Oasis is mentioned here. I don't see them as being necessarily optimistic, okay? I don't know what they're making that connection. But with the pop punk Green Day, like I said, I love some of their stuff, and some of it is just... See, what happened from that point on, a ton of... Talk about oversaturation, and that might account for the fact that there's not a lot of bands that came around the time the Green Day did survive either, because they were oversaturated. But you get all these, Frankie's mom has great boobs songs, or Sally told a friend that Frankie got her pregnant.
Yeah.
Or songs like The Way. Well, they just took off and left all the children, or whatever the lyrics was. I actually bought that album, right? And so it was all almost a jokey time. And yet, that if that killed grunge, and then it came along, it didn't have any more legs than grunge. Or do you guys think I'm off kilter here? Let me know in the comments. Look for a comment that says that the Green Day movement, the poppier punk pop stuff, actually survived, baby.
Yeah.
Because,
Okay.
and I'm talking like it was back in its heyday. All right, I'm not talking even Alice in Chains, which is stupid, are touring out there. They got a fake vocalist up there. I mean, Lane Staley was so big of a part of their creative process. His vocal approach was his thumbnail, right? You can get people to take over from somebody, replicate their vocals, but it was their thumbnail. All you're doing is to me, when I see Adam with Queen, I just see a glorified, what is that called when you get up there and you do a microphone to the jukebox?
Oh yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
What is that called?
Oh gosh. Wait a second. Yeah.
Karaoke.
Karaoke.
The only thing is he doesn't have a jukebox. He's got two of the members of Queen and a fake bass player.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not up for that. So when I see Tickets for Alice in Chains, I go, why? I love Jerry Cantrell. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see him live, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't pay top dollar to go see Alice in Chains. I doubt if anybody is these days. Unfortunately, that seems to be the way of it. So they talk about the shifting trends, which every single subgenre on the planet has had to deal with. And then they talk about internal band issues. Pearl Jam stopped making music videos and boycotted Ticketmaster, so that reduced their visibility, while Soundgarden broke up in 1996. All right, they were here, they were gone. A lot of these bands, they were here, they were gone. Soundgarden broke up, Alice in Chains lost their vocalist,
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots lost their vocalist, Velvet. Anyway,
Oh.
Nirvana lost their vocalist and really mainly only songwriter. Okay, so they were dropping like flies. There was not enough. See, when Brian Jones died with the Stones, right?
Yeah.
First of all, it was one member in five. We still had all four Beatles, right?
Yep.
We still had all four members of Pink Floyd. Now, when he died, was Sid Barrett still member at that time? I'm trying to think. He died in '69, didn't he? I think he died in 1969.
That sounds about that time.
That
Yeah.
sounds to me like Sid Barrett would have been out of the picture by then.
Yeah.
All right, but we still have tons of complete bands. It was sad to hear. Tonight over on Royce's channel, we're going to be talking about Janis Joplin. She was another casualty from our generation. But when she died, or Mama Cass died, or Jimi Hendrix died, or Jim Morrison, or Brian, boy, see, I can name tons of them. But we had like 4 times as many bands as those people represented, still alive and well, and still putting out an album. And so it was a scar, it was a wound, but it wasn't something that killed the movement. I think with grunge, it did. Did you have something to say,
I was just going to say that Dalek Shalom, or Dalek, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out.
He says the industrial electro metal bands like Nine Inch Nails and Limp Bizkit, I remember them, etc., were becoming popular.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Right. It wasn't just one subgenre. You ask a question like this, AI is about as smart as a monkey.
Yeah.
Right? But it had the general attack I wanted to go with for the show tonight. Now, here's another one. Dalek brought that up, or Dalek, sorry. How about hip hop all of a sudden coming in? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Makes you long for the days of grunge, no matter what you think of grunge. Now, I actually like some of hip hop. And when I say that, maybe
I do
one
too.
out of 10
I do
songs
too.
I
There's
hear.
some good hip hop.
There's some good hip hop.
Yep.
Right? It's pop. It's the new pop. Okay?
Like when my son was young, there was oh gosh, what were they called again? You know the one. Oh, it's like back in the early '80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not picking it up. Are you talking about
Oh boy.
early
it's just not
80s? That
coming
could
to
be
my mind.
anybody.
Yeah, the early '80s. There
Well, think
was
about it. Let me know if it comes to
some
mind.
early hip hop that was really good.
I know David, her son's from a previous marriage. I consider them my sons too. I know David. David, actually, when we first got married, he was about 15. He was 50. I think he was at the last ends of being 15. And he'd come and talk to me, and that kid had such a sharp mind. And I realized this kid's like me. You'd think he'd be my biological son.
Yeah.
He has a lot of things.
You and David think a lot alike.
We do.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do.
My son Dave, my oldest son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just his, I mean, he's argumentative.
Deep thinker.
I'm argumentative.
A very deep thinker.
He's a
and,
deep thinker. I think a lot before I actually open up my mouth. But then when I open my mouth, I open my mouth, and so does David,
Yep, exactly.
And David and I would click early on when he was still a teenager,
David
but he's a good man.
Doesn't have as deep of a filter as I would like sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's got ADHD, but he is, I mean, sharp.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
Just like you, hon.
Brilliant. He's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Ben Scheidegger just came in with a super thanks, hon. Thank you, Ben.
And would you go ahead and read that
I sure
and let me
will.
know how much? Because I'm on my notes page,
Ben
baby.
says metal made a revival as well in the late 90s.
Yeah, good
System
point.
of a Down, Slipknot, Rammstein, Ozfest, alternative rock came on the scene as well.
Yep.
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 Absolutely. Ben.
And older bands were making comebacks too at that point. A lot in the 90s. Oh, they're back, Oh, no, they quit for a second, but they're back. And all of that. What? How much was that? I wanted you to shout it out. Give him credit.
A 5 spot. Ben came in with
thank
a
you.
5 spot.
Thank you, brother.
Ben.
I appreciate it. A $5 super thanks. And then there were the band breakups and hiatuses. Beyond tragic deaths, it says many core grunge bands experienced internal struggles. I think that's pretty much with any rock band. Broke up or significantly changed their direction. Pearl Jam once again boycotted Ticketmaster and shied away from the limelight and couldn't keep a drummer to save their life. I lost interest eventually in Pearl Jam, but you know what? Vance has been talking them up a lot, and I need to reassess some of their latest stuff. I just kind of I faded away. 10 is a masterpiece, the album 10. Garden disbanded in 1997 before reuniting years later. And that's when they realize what's going on. Okay, so that covers the idea of grunge. If you guys want to talk about this more on Wednesday, let me know. But I did want to keep us up to date regarding what's going on with this poll. What is the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame all about? Why are we doing this? And what's the new information that I promised? Okay, before I get on to that, I did get a comment. I'm not going to say who this is. But I received comments from this individual before complaining that I was making far too many members only video. They're not a member, so they're feeling like I'm holding that off of the regular viewers. Let me explain something right now. I have not stopped making the same amount of videos for my regular channel than I ever have. Okay, I've always put out 1 or 2 videos a week, sometimes up to 3. And maybe this person came on because every once in a while I'll get into a real groove and you'll see 3 videos a week for 3 weeks in a row. But my shot, what I shoot to produce for you guys is 1 or 2 good videos a week. So that hasn't stopped. Here's what when he says still pandering to the members only videos, 5 of the last 11 days members only. All right. And I took, if you're out there, brother, I took the comment off because I didn't want to have to explain to you again. I explained to you the last time you checked in what's happening here and what I just said. All right. Now, what's happening with the members only videos is these are people who are paying a monthly fee to this channel to be part of the members. They're called tribal elders and they're called tribal chieftains. And I do that as extra effort when I brought on memberships. I have not ceased to produce the product that I've always produced absolutely free. So keep that in mind. Yeah, baby.
Oh, Michael Boswell came in with a deuce hammer, hun.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, thank you so much,
Thank you, Michael.
Boswell.
Did he say anything with it?
Yes, he does. He says Elvis Presley is still the king of rock and roll.
Right. Okay, so
Woohoo!
that's a good launch
Michael.
point. I love these guys. All
Yeah.
these guys, they can change the direction of what I'm going to say in the next minute. Now, I got a lot of people. One person, when I brought Elvis in, and he creamed his competition, or at least he's creaming his competition, I should say, because the vote's still out, even for part one. Okay, you can still vote for part one. It's still accruing. You can change what's happening on the poll until the day, and the day that I call it off will probably be next Sunday night. Because I've done the mental calculations, and it looks like we'll get to the end of this poll maybe as early as Friday or Saturday at the latest. And then next week's stream will cap it off, and I'll give you an idea where we're going next with this. Because down the line, months from now, we're going to do this one more time. Not like this, but we're going to add. And that's what I wanted to talk. But the one person, what I wanted to talk about next, but the one person on the Elvis thing said, you should have been in, Elvis should have been in the top 13 bands to begin with. Well, first of all, Elvis is not a band, and that started off as my top 13 favorite bands in rock and roll. The Tribe got involved. It became the top 13 bands of the Tribe in rock and roll. And of course, I've retroactively inducted those top 13 bands into the Mount Olympus Rock of Fame, Rock Hall of Fame, or Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. Don't want to step on anybody's trademark there.
Yeah.
Okay, but so they were grandfathered in. And I always thought, once I started this, Elvis was going to be, that's a no-brainer. And you guys didn't surprise me at all. He got a large amount of the votes, right? And it looks like he may stand a chance to get inducted. Now, so you know how it came across, right? And I understand that, but that was a band list. And all of these people, part one doesn't get inducted before part 26. They all get inducted, and I will announce the inductions on next Sundays, I think. I think that's how it's going to work out. I'll give you the whole generalized picture. And that leads me to what I wanted to talk about regarding the changes of Mount Rock Olympus. If any of you are precluded to do, you can, shrink my window and tap the More button on my channel page, the main channel page, and you'll see those 13 top rock bands. Okay, so that's one thing. All right, but there's another list there, folks. Okay, so when we get these 13 in and the additional, 52 new members from the 26-part poll, we will have a total of 65 members on the roster of the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. But we're also going to add these people, and I will announce this again next Sunday. All right? The Tribe's top 25 guitar players. This was also a poll that had tens of thousands of votes. And so we're going to add the 25 guitar players to the Mount Rock Olympus just because they're great freaking guitar players. And I think if there's one single instrument that has carved more territory in rock in general over the decades, it does not delineate great keyboard players or great sax players or great harmonica players. They're coming later. And drummers and bass players. You see where I'm going with this, folks? But they're going to be inducted. So you add them to the 65, and we at the end of this process by next week, we should have 90 members
Oh my
to the
goodness,
Mount Rock
hon.
Olympus Hall of Fame, with some people gonna get a double induction. Led Zeppelin's already in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. They were grandfathered in. Jimmy Page was the number one
Okay.
guitar player. So he's getting a double induction. See how it works? All right, baby, you got something to say?
Royce just came in. Royce in the house just came in with a super thanks.
Oh,
hon.
brother,
Oh,
thank you so much. Oh, a $10
Royce.
super thanks from
Royce
Royce.
is always so wonderful.
Yeah. Let me see if I can read this. Great subject tonight. I love grunge, and I'm a big Nirvana fan. I know you are, Royce. Along with Pearl Jam, STP, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, and other. And those are like the big ones for me too, Royce. And you and I, Royce is a bit older. He goes, you always have to bring that up. Hey man, when you're 71 and you can claim anyone's older than you.
Isn't that like playground tactics, hon?
Yeah, no, but I look at him as like, if I'd met him back in the day, he would have been the leader of the group.
Exactly.
I think he's just like 18 months older than me.
When we're kids,
It's not a big thing.
Age is everything.
Right, it means nothing now, but back then, it would have meant something big. But the reason I say that is his introduction to the harder elements of rock were a good year and a half to 2 years before me. I got into Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath after I was a big Beatles fan and didn't know I'd make that kind of jump. It hit me between the eyes. And maybe I was a year or two later than a lot of kids my own age who weren't major Beatle fans. And Led Zeppelin came out, and that's the first thing that's really spoke to them. Like I said, I am of the youngest of the original rock generation. I was born in 1955, folks. Okay? 1955. That was the beginning of my martial arts, my choice of martial arts, Taekwondo. They united 7 of the 8 major forms of Korean karate together, and they made it a state-sponsored kind of Korean official martial art, right? 1955. Rock and roll, rock around the clock, 1955.
With a super thanks.
Oh, Rockin' Robin Bird. She threw a deuce and a half hammer at us.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love her little, look at, she's doing this.
I know.
That's so cool.
Rockin' Robin.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Rockin' Robin.
Baby, I want you to look as I wrap up for some comments you want to bring up that has been said that you think. Because I'm going to have a little bit of time. So tonight, and I'm amazed, this has got to be the first Sunday where I'm kind of wrapping things up within a 45-minute window here. But I do want to hear more. This could have a lot. What you say tonight could have a lot to do with what we're talking on Wednesday. By the way, if you're new members, or you're new viewers, I should say, and you haven't seen too many of these streams, you've seen 1 or 2 of my videos or whatever, I stream live on Sundays and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. I call it the Tribal Forum, and the reason I do that is that I call all of you folks the tribe. I rely on you. Your votes in this matter is what is carrying this. I get no votes on this. This is your votes. I am the instigator. I'm the shit disturber, right? And the people that are going on these lists have been recommended to me by you in past streams.
Yeah.
Baby, I see another super thanks here.
Michael Boswell just came in again.
Could you read it?
Michael, thank you so much.
$10. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, he says, love me some Roy Orbison, because I like Roy Orbison a little better than Elvis, but it's just the voice.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he says he loves him some Roy Orbison, but Roy came after Elvis.
Yeah.
The other part of this is that without Elvis, most of the 13 on Mount Olympus would be singing UK folk tunes.
Right.
That's real.
I think it might have been Michael that brought it up in the poll. And I think, wasn't it you, Michael, that informed me, look, Roy Orbison, what he's known for is like between the 50s and when the Beatles landed in America. And it's true. His first album didn't come out until 1961. So why is he in the 50s Well, his career began in 1953. All right, he didn't secure an album deal till 1951, and plus, Roy Orbison is compared to Elvis all over the place. When they talk about Roy Orbison, they're kind of talking about, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, that whole group of people at that time. So that's why I included him in. Plus his style, except for Pretty Woman, that could go with that's a classic rock song. But some of his ballads and things like that would be better compared to the 50s rockers, and for the most part, before the Beatles were even fully he was already touring over there, and he was touring in England because, that's what they do. They tour, back in the day, they'd tour America, kind of drain America of interest, and then their last dribbling of between projects, they go tour Europe, especially England for rock and roll, and they'd make a bit of money there, and then they'd come back and either continue their career, or they'd start to dissipate. And then when Roy Orbison got back from that set of tours where he toured with the Beatles, who the Beatles looked up at him like a god, he showed them in a van Pretty Woman when he first wrote it. And Paul said, John and I just looked at each other, how do we write something better than that? The audacity. The audacity. But now I want to get back to this point here. What was it? Right now, Elvis Presley is clearly leading. The only one that's given him any trouble at all, and it's not much trouble, Elvis has 55%, over half of you voted for Elvis, and that's with 1.2 thousand votes. Over half, so well over 600 votes. 600 of you voted for Elvis, right? But slightly less than half of that, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, another hero of mine. I'm more of a Buddy Holly and the Crickets fan.
Michael just came in with another super thanks.
Oh my goodness.
Michael Boswell, you're on a roll tonight.
Let's see. He says, my comment is that Sun Records members made rock and roll. Yeah, they sure did, didn't they?
I
agree.
It
gets down. I've never done a video on Sun Records. I need to do that. What do you guys think? Should I do that? I'd like to do a video that talks about the importance of Sun Records and some of the talent that came out there, and later talent that wanted to go back there. Baby, I cannot believe this. David L., so good to see you.
Oh,
he just sent in a $50 super thanks, baby.
He did?
Yeah, could you read that for me?
Oh, my goodness, he did.
Thank you for saying happy birthday.
David L. is always so wonderful. Thank you, David.
And it's always good to see David
all
in.
you tribe members are epic, I swear.
Even just his comments, all these people that you see in here, these are key tribe members. The folks in the comments.
Here's a little birthday present for you, Michael.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Loving the topic tonight, as usual. Long live the tribe. Always a great way to start off the week. Amen, David L.
Thank you, David.
What an
these guys
awesome
have been
gift.
so supportive tonight.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so here's the deal. Just to kind of tie all of this up, we are on part 14. That means we still have 12, right? I guess we still have, that's right. 13 would have been halfway, 26 part. So we still have 12 more polls that'll come out. I'll get the next poll out probably around midnight, slightly after. Okay, right now the current poll, the last two current polls have been funny. Take a look at this, folks. This last two polls have been committed to singer-songwriters. Okay, part 13, which of these singer-songwriters should hold a spot in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? Keep that question in mind, because when I go up to 14, it'll be the same question.
Oh, Piccolina just came in with a soup. Piccolina.
Oh, Piccolina
the cat. I love that
Mr.
name.
Tuxedo Cat himself.
I'm a cat lady, absolutely.
We just had to kind of boot Jelly out of the room. As a matter of fact, that my latest video has...
oh, my goodness.
That's free right now for the whole folks. doesn't have it, but the full
Joseph-
video on members shows you my orange cat,
Joseph
Piccolina.
Blue just came in with a super thanks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph.
Well, why don't you read Piccolina's first and then Joseph's?
She says, or the cat says, happy birthday, Michael. My favorites were Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. They both reminded me of Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
Well, you know what I
Absolutely.
liked about Alice in Chains? Songs. Nirvana, songs. All right. Now, all those other bands you might like out of that era, to various degrees, had songwriting capability. Don't get me wrong about that. Pearl Jam's first album, just blew me away. I thought I'd be a fan for life.
Yeah.
Right. But they were more interested in having a bit of pop sound at that point, and then they kind of, well, we're going to show you how to be really grungy now. And they kind of got more boring for me. But Vance has been talking them up, and on Vance's advice and him staying more focused, and he's present in the current going to concerts kind of guy. Vance is, I would imagine he's a lot younger than me. I have a lot of respect for him. And so I'm going to reanalyze what Pearl Jam's been up to. But I bought their first 3 or 4, Vitology, Yield, 10, and I loved them, right? But here's the deal with...
can we get to Joseph Blue real quick?
Yeah, let me finish this point.
Okay,
And then I want you to read that.
Okay.
With Alice in Chains, the thing is they had the songs, the craftsmanship, okay? They were memorable. They knew how to write a hook, and on top of that, their vocal approach was they had one of them singing the under harmony to the melody on top, exactly what the Beatles did with John Lennon, often hitting the under harmony to Paul McCartney's melody. Sometimes John even writing the song and giving the melody to McCartney because he wrote the melody in a higher register. I could just imagine John singing in falsetto on his couch at home and going, I'll just give this part to Paul. Right?
Yeah.
That's a secret to the Beatles' success, and it was to Alice in Chains. Go ahead and read Joseph's.
Oh, boy. Okay. Joseph says, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, Joseph.
I'll be 72 next Sunday. Oh, happy birthday, Joseph Blue.
So,
wow.
See, Joseph is closer to Royce's age. Yeah.
Well, a year is not very far from your age either.
Yeah, but he's, he's 54 weeks older than me.
That's awesome, and Joseph Blue is still rocking it.
Yeah, Joseph.
He says, I got the Traveling Wilburys original 88 CD, new, which is out of print. Wow, lucky you, Joseph.
Which album was that?
He's got the Traveling Wilburys original 88 CD.
Oh my God! Royce just picked up a Wilbury, one of their albums.
Yeah.
He's a major fan of them. So am I. I want to get them on vinyl too, right? Matter of fact, I've got George Harrison's "All Things Must Pass." Then I want to get his, the one where Cloud 9. And then I want to get the Wilburys before I go and get the rest of George Harrison's stuff. Because I like that stuff better than those other lesser albums by George. Even George, you got to remember, he's a Beatle. They had good songs. They just didn't reach the high level expectations that his very first album out the gate after the Beatles anyway. I mean, he did a couple of solo sound collage project albums, but before Wonderwall, right? But coming out of the gate, the Beatles are over. Here's what I'm really capable of. Then the next album was almost as good. Which one was that? And then it was the third album. I go, I feel a Mar coming on, right? But getting back to this poll, folks, the singer-songwriter category, everybody even told me, I think Royce even said this, he says John Lennon didn't have much competition. The songwriter nominations were in his heat: John Lennon, Beck, Carole King, and Warren Zevon. Now, I could see an argument that Beck was nowhere near on his level, and Beck is right now currently only getting 3% of the vote, and he's in the back of this crowd here, no doubt. But Warren Zevon, He's a great singer-songwriter voice. And Carole King, you know, before the Beatles ever met her, they were over in Germany playing her songs. You know, her number one hit song she wrote with her husband, Geffen, right? Geffen King
Yeah.
songwriting team, right? So I could see it maybe with Beck, Royce, but I didn't repeat the mistake on this next one. Paul got tons of competition, I believe. Let me know if you guys agree with this. Because the second part, I wasn't going to put Paul and John against each other. That wasn't going to happen. All right? That would weaken the field. It really would. With each of them getting 40% and the other two, you know, mopping up the gravy out of the bowl. But with Paul McCartney's Heat, or Part 14, as singer-songwriters, he went against Carly Simon, who I actually, except for the Tapestry album, one of my favorite albums, that's a masterpiece. I liked Carly Simon slightly better after the Tapestry album than Carole King, right? And Van Morrison and Cat Stevens.
Michael Boswell hit the deuce hammer.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Did he
Michael
say anything
is
with it?
prolific tonight. Yeah, he says the Bee Gees, specifically Barry, wrote great songs. Yep.
You want to tell them what video I showed you about the Bee Gees?
Oh my goodness, what was that? Oh yeah, when they were just little boys. That was so cool.
Well, I mean, you could tell that Barry was like 16. He was fully grown. And the twins came down to here, folks, on him. And they were doing a television show. And I said, I'll bet you she won't recognize. I go, who are these guys? And she goes, the Bee Gees. She loves the Bee Gees. I do too. I like their earlier stuff better than their disco stuff, but if you must consider disco, and there's some good stuff that came out of disco. I just hated it as a musician because it put me out of work. Every bar that I was playing in and could make money in, all of a sudden tore up their bandstand, put a dance floor in and a revolving psychedelic fucking ball. I hated it. Put tons of us out of work overnight. But even some of their disco stuff, I love it. I love it. All right, so, and here's another thing. Before John Lennon, and still holding over John Lennon, so far on these polls, the biggest winner, Royce will be so glad to hear this, at 76% of his heat, over three quarters of you voted for Jimi Hendrix, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, as the best psychedelic acid rock artist, against Uriah Heep. Ooh. But Uriah Heep's in second place. If they maintain that, Uriah Heep will make the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. Take that, John Sykes. All right?
Michael.
So he had 76. John came up with, so nobody beat that. Before or after, John Lennon came close with 68. McCartney is leading his pack at 84%. That is I've never seen anybody on my polls ever carry 84%, especially when you've got the likes of Carly Simon, Van Morrison, and Cat Stevens. You know? Now, Carly is an older woman now. I think she plays shows from time to time. I know she always had stage fright. She was scared to death. She always had to battle against that. And she's not the raving young beauty she was then, although I think she's gorgeous as an older woman, but I'm an older man. I think she's still gorgeous. So she hasn't been doing anything new. She does shows. She's like a jukebox of her own stuff, basically. Van Morrison, same thing. He hasn't been the hottest thing in the world. But at the time that McCartney was first coming out as a solo artist, Van Morrison, Cat Stevens, T for the Tillerman. Oh my God. Now, Cat Stevens might not be doing so well because he left for the East and came back a holy man. And that didn't set well with a lot of his original. I don't care. That's his own decision. If he went back and got some spirituality into his life, and the man is still serious about it, he didn't come back looking like the cool looking rock star he was in his day. He was a good looking man, right? And he comes back, he's got some sort of religious garb, or it seems to me, and this big long beard, and these days, that's not a good look to sport. But if I was going to vote for any one of these, besides Paul, it would be a toss-up between Kat and Carly. All right? But maybe that's because I'm so vain. See what I
Wow.
did there, baby?
Yeah.
She's just so, she goes, oh, God, people, you don't know what I put up with on this side of the world,
I think Caitlin has an idea.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Caitlin? I'll tell you what. If you think I shut down after this, there are times where I won't barely talk for days, like anybody. I have my times when I get kind of reclusive and I crawl into myself and I need, but that's usually when I'm recharging my batteries. But if I'm at the store, I remember not too long ago, some woman was trying to talk to me in the back of the store. I was up at the cash register making some chit chat. She'd almost run me over. I said, don't talk to me, bitch.
Oh,
I said, you practically ran me over in the parking lot.
oh my
Oh, was that
goodness.
you? I'm so sorry. I said, that's amazing. You didn't say you were sorry out there. And so she goes, well, blah, blah, blah. And I said, shut the f up. And I left. So I'm kind of like that,
Oh boy. Roy says, Michael, did you see my songwriting team suggestion on
Yeah, I
one of
did,
your
Royce.
polls?
And the only problem with it, I already answered it. Was great. Four of them were great suggestions. Art Funkel, Art Funkel, and but Simon and Garfunkel wouldn't be a songwriting team because Art didn't write for Simon and Garfunkel. That's all Paul Simon. But songwriting duos, they would go right up, or singing duos, they would be right at the top of my list. Their vocals sound to me like my favorite harmony guys are the Beatles, the Beach Boys, the Everly Brothers, the Bee Gees, and of course, Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah, I love harmony. I've sang in choirs. I've been taught how to train myself to listen for a harmony. I try to teach myself, songs I like, both parts. Trying to sing some of John Lennon's under harmonies.
Donna the Frank.
On And I Love Her.
Donna
where he
the
goes
Frank
under.
says, Michael, you probably think this song is about you.
I probably do.
Huh. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
One of rock's great
Dawn.
mysteries. Yeah. I think she's come out and been kind of revealing on that without coming out 100%. People thought that was about, what was the actor's name?
Oh.
Shirley MacLaine's little brother.
Yeah. Why isn't his name coming?
Warren.
Oh, yeah, Warren Beatty.
Yeah, Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
Many people thought it was about him. Some people thought it was about Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
And let's see, out of all the vain rock stars, it's too bad Billy Idol wasn't around when she came around that and real popular. He's kind of vain. I like his vanity. His whole thing. But you know what, to me, Billy Idol is the blonde Elvis. He even has the Elvis curl of the lip. Have you guys ever noticed that? He's got that same, I don't know why I liked Billy Idol. The spiked hair, wasn't exactly my style, right? And I loved him immediately on the power of his material, White Wedding, and what was that other big hit he had? That right there at the very beginning. And his leather, his blonde, his good look. I liked Adam and the Ants for the antithesis reason for that. I thought Adam was great, right?
Yeah.
So that was a magical time. The very early part of the 80s, maybe 79, but really no. I'd say from 82-ish to about 85. There was like 3 magical years where we had the second British invasion, and you couldn't believe the differences of sounds coming out. Flock of Seagulls, my God. The Police were coming along with tons and tons of, they were writing like the Beatles. Oh, that was last week's #1 hit. Today, it's do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da, I want to say to you.
Yeah.
The
do-do-do. The
Yeah.
da-da-da.
Da-dee-da, the classroom. Oh, God, I loved them. Still do. And I think the Police will be one of the bands up for consideration in a future part of the poll. All right, so right now it's about 6:07. That gives me less time than I'm comfortable with to get ready for Royce. Now, folks, please join me over on Royce. If you're watching this, I don't take center stage. Royce does. I pepper in. Chris Elliott peppers in. Dan, McNew, Dan the man, we call him over there, peppers in his stuff, and we have a conversation. Usually Royce starts off, kind of sets the ground rules, right? He's the boss over there. We're just Indian. We're his Indian warriors over there. He likes to call us warriors because we're called the Four Horsemen. But once the conversation gets going, then we're all kind of on an equal basis and we just go all over the place. And Royce is about my best buddy in the universe. Dan ain't too far back from that. These are the guys I hang with. Dan and I had a great 45-minute telephone call the other day, baby.
Huh.
Yeah.
Really? Cool.
And the more I listen to him, I go, Royce starts talking, and then it's me trying to overtalk Royce. Royce tries to overtalk me. You know how we are,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Dan, he doesn't even attempt to override me. He listens to my complete statement, and then when he responds, he goes, well, he's got that Texas laid-back kind of Americana kind of thing to his personality. I just love the man. And he calms me down. I need that kind of personage to sit down, and then we can just sit there and chew the fat. Otherwise, I chew up scenery all over the place, and that's part of my weakness. And I apologize to you folks if sometimes that gets in the way. But my whole approach to this channel is I try to be real. When I tell you I love you, I mean it. It's an agape love. I care for you folks. I hear some of you are hurting these days. Dr. Rick, I just heard, is back to having some problems. He has all kinds of respiratory.
Oh.
Yeah, really sad.
We're praying for him.
Caitlin is facing things coming up. She has a ton of responsibility on her hands. She is so important to her mom.
Oh, yeah.
And
I can relate with that.
yeah,
Yep.
James, Storm Cop, for the longest time didn't show up, and he's like, this guy started this whole mess.
Yeah.
Out of all my subscribers, I blame James the most for the tribal forum.
Yeah, Storm Cop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't hear from him. And,
Storm
I
is
don't
wonderful.
want to bug people. And I had already I knew he had gone through 2 freaking tornadoes. And that was early last year. And then late last year, he kind of disappeared. And I go, well, maybe I'm boring the guy, or maybe he's just bored of. I get into days and days and days where last thing I want to think of is rock and roll. Not often, but every once in a while. And I just want to watch the 2 Towers, man. I don't want to even think about rock and roll. Kimberly and I are right in the middle of that. We're watching the extended versions of Lord of the Rings, and we're doing it half each every night so we can really consume it. She knows I've read the book about 12 times, and she puts up with me going, that part didn't happen in the book, and that part where the tree swallows Merry and Pippin, that actually happened when they first crossed over to the Brandy book, and they went through another forest that they don't even mention in the movies, and that's when that happened. And it was Tom Bombadil that showed up. She goes, who's Tom Bombadil?
Yeah.
Because there is no Tom Bombadil in the films. He's a major character.
Yeah.
And one of the most powerful beings in Middle Earth. Now that I've explained to you far more than you ever wanted to know about the book, or the trilogy of books, The Lord of the Rings, I'm going to sign off tonight. You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I can't think of a better birthday that I've ever had than sharing this with my friends.
The community is wonderful.
No, this has been the best
tribe
freaking
rocks.
birthday party a guy could ask for.
I know.
And you know what, folks?
It's been really fun.
I'm a big kid. You buy, often husbands get like, oh, a new tie, a new suit, brand new, 3 brand new sets of Levi 501s or whatever it is they wear. And I'm a kid at heart, man. This is Christmas to me. This is Christmas. And when you can turn my birthday into Christmas, my goodness gracious, I am so thankful. I'm also thankful for the last 2 albums that Royce just sent me. I've already made a video on it in case you haven't seen it. He sent me Joe Walsh's Thirds, because he had a double box, and he was already going to send me a Moody Blues album. And he goes, I wanted to add another one. And he, I guess, had an additional Joe Walsh thirds, or the James Gang thirds. Joe Walsh I loved him, better than the Eagles when the Eagles were without him. And I loved the Eagles. But Joe Walsh is one of those guys. I say Paul McCartney's my guy. If I had to say my guy, guitar player, it would be Joe Walsh. Not that he was as good as Hendrix or Jimmy Page, who is my favorite guitar player, but Joe Walsh was ripping at wires, restripping the wires of his pickups, reconfiguring them, tearing holes in his speaker cabinets to make fuzz, creating stuff electronic. That's my kind of guy. He's a DIY kind of guy, right? And so, and I've seen him twice. I saw him twice with Barnstorm, and immediately went out and bought the Barnstorm album and went, I swear to God, when he joined the Eagles, I like the Eagles fine without him. They didn't need him, and he didn't need them, but evidently, I like the fact that he's a recovered alcoholic, as many of you know, so am I. So there's a lot that speaks to me about his personage, except for when he turned into a pussy and backstabbed Don Felder to keep his job with the Eagles. And I have a feeling that's due to his whole alcoholism and everything. He hangs on to the Eagles to maintain sobriety, and he doesn't realize that the main Eagle who supported him was Don Felder, and friendship and his own personal commitment will keep the man high, dry, and sober. One day at a time, Joe. You never know. Maybe Joe's got bored and said, I heard of this dumb shit over there. He don't like the Eagles. He's been bad-mouthing Don Henley. I'm going to go over there and find out. I love you, Joe. Don't like the way you treated Don Felder. And as for you, Don Henley, you were one of my favorite singers and songwriters. In rock, bar none, real close to Lennon and McCartney, you and Glenn, right? Until you turned into an asshole, and now you're just a liar.
Michael Boswell says, I should remind you of the time.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Right, I've got... Oh.
Michael, thank you.
Yeah. Well, what's been happening. I'll just wrap this up, and I got to change equipment real fast. What's been happening is I've been trying to gain some energy so that on Wednesdays especially, I can give you longer streams. I want to work that into a 2-hour stream at the least, and we'll see where that takes in the future. I want to make that the long one, and this is the focal point weekend show. And besides that, folks, I'm going to be over at Royce's house, and we're going to be the Four Horsemen. We're going to talk about Janis Joplin. So the night's just begun. Please join me over there. Michael, thanks for keeping me honest. Oh, by the way, I did want to say this about Joseph Blue. Blue keeps me honest, just like Michael Boswell does. He takes me to task all the time. I recognize that, Joseph, and I love you for it. Anybody who can challenge me, that's fine. I'm looking to learn from you guys as much as I am trying to impart what the little I know about rock and roll. All right, folks, I love each and every one of you. I'll see you in less than 15 minutes over at the Four Horsemen. If you don't know where it is, go to my channel page, swing all the way down the main channel page, and there are the 5 featured channels that I support. Of course, you got Soul Train Bro, you got Vance's channel over there, you got Dan's channel over there, right? JP Salazar, his channel's over there. Heard from him in my latest video. Love your channel, brother. And of course, Royce. Click on his, and then it'll take you to his channel page, and the top video will be tonight's stream. Good enough send up, Royce? Love you, brother, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Night, folks.
Storm Cop said, happy birthday, Michael.